Hey guys. Yes, I'm in a little bit of a different position here in my studio. It is extremely cloudy and I had to get the lighting just right, and the overhead is it just makes it too yellow. It just not natural enough. Anyway, I have got something very important to share with you, but I'm also going to let you in on what's going on with my weight loss. And I'm going to share it all with you in just a little bit. Okay, so I hadn't been sharing with you and so I've been doing with the weight loss or anything. I've been going through a very large ordeal. When I had started doing OMAD, at first my body had responded. And then it got to the point that it stopped responding and I was wanting to eat or needing to eat more. And so it was starting to kind of climb back up on me. And I had stopped doing OMAD and gone back to doing the weigh down, where I was trying to eat smaller portions just when hungry. But even that had gotten to the point that my body wasn't responding. It was like I was starting to eat too much. And I had started to wonder what was my body needing, because I was definitely eating smaller portions, and I had even cut it down to just eating twice a day. I had watched C-Dub's video on things that you could do to start your new year right and lose the weight. He had set up a week by week program that you would step it up, switch it out and everything. And the one thing that had caught my attention was him saying to start out with the 16-8 and to just like eat around such and such a time in the morning, then such a time in the evening, and let it be at that. But he was also setting you up to be able to do intermittent fasting. And I know intermittent fasting is a good thing. It's a good thing. The body is able to get into fat burning, and it's able to, if you prolong your fasting long enough, then it even gets into autophagy, where it starts to repair the bad cells, the dead cells, And so, but the one thing, our body is always regenerating anyway. That's the reason why we lose hair every day, or there's dead skin every day. You could take your fingernails and just lightly scrape on your skin and see the skin flake off. It dusts off. So the body's constantly doing that anyway. Whether or not it's deep autophagy, I don't know, but the body's always regenerating regardless of if we fast or not. But apparently the longer you fast, the greater chance there is of going into autophagy, where the body really does deep work, I reckon. But anyway, that's beyond the thing. So the day before yesterday, when I weighed myself, and I had done exceptionally well. I had made sure not to eat too much. It was small portions. I didn't eat too often in the day, And I had ended up gaining 1 pound and an ounce. And the one thing that I had noticed while I was doing OMAD, I was staying dizzy. I mean, it was dizzy. I would be dizzy all the time. And there was some days I wasn't hungry at all, but on the whole part, I stayed hungry regardless. And I know, like, you exercise your fasting muscles, But for some reason, my body was no longer responding to OMAD and prolonged fasting. It just wasn't. And so when I had weighed myself the day before yesterday, I was just literally flustered. And I asked the Lord, what is it that my body's wanting? What is it wanting me to do? Because I had even talked to my husband about a week ago concerning what my body was doing, and that I was cutting my portions down more and eating less often, but like my body still wasn't responding to losing weight. It was just wanting to gain. And I had asked, what am I needing to do just short of going anorexic? Because I'm not wanting to go anorexic, That's definitely not good. And I don't like the thought of literally just the same as starving anyway. Even anorexics, they do eat, but it is so very little that there is no nutritional value there. There is no calories there, And I'm not wanting to go there. So in my quest to find out, because, I was frustrated all day long. I was just simply frustrated all day long. Seriously bothered because, once again, I had gone back up in weight. And this was just the other night. And then I felt compelled to look up what foods works best with hypothyroidism. Because I know my metabolism has a whole lot to do with how my body responds to food. And I was thinking that it was possible to just be able to figure out a good diet, a good menu that would work well with hypothyroidism and anemia. So I looked it up on the web. I didn't even begin to reach what goes with anemia, which I know that iron-rich foods helps a lot with anemia, because anemia is just the blood doesn't get enough oxygen because there's not enough iron in the blood. If you've got enough iron in the blood, then you get enough oxygen in your blood. But I found out something else about hypothyroidism and iron. So it could be my hypothyroidism is the cause of my anemia. But that's something for me to study deeper in. So I found some very important things. I had found on a health site 6 things that can actually help you to lose weight and keep it off with hypothyroidism. Now, before I get into the sheet that I had wrote my study notes on, I had looked up back in 2015 a little bit about the thyroid. So the thyroid consists of T4 and T3. T3 is the most important factor in the thyroid. That's what helps it function properly so that the body functions properly. If you don't have enough T3, your thyroid isn't going to work right, which means your body isn't going to work right. T4 has to be converted into T3. Because T4, I really don't know the purpose of T4. All I know is it has to be converted into T3 because T3 is the main factor. And if you're a hypo and you're taking Synthroid or Nature-Throid, you are taking a T3 supplement. That's what the pills are. They're T3 supplements because our thyroid doesn't have enough T3 and it's not converting the T4 into T3 like it needs to. So we are doing T3 therapy through taking Synthroid or Nature-Throid. And that's what I'd found out back in 2015. Now, when I had done this the other night, it made more sense about what I had read up in 2015. So this is what I had discovered. 6 things that is very effective toward losing weight with hypothyroidism. You need to eat like good carbs. Like, now there's going to be a lot of people who's going to go, I told you so, I knew it. Yeah. So even though I'm not against junk food, because I'm not, but apparently the sugars like in candies and sodas actually has a blocking effect, so to speak. I don't exactly remember what it was that I'd read, because the one thing that really stood out to me was inflammatory. But eating the more sugary things like the candies and the sodas and stuff like that, somehow or another slows the conversion of the T4 into the T3. I'll have to read up more on that. And that's one thing I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing a video every day on hypothyroidism and what we can do to better our systems with it. But as I study up more on hypo, I will do periodic videos with what I have discovered and what we can do to better our systems living with hypothyroidism. So we need to eat anti-inflammatory foods. The one thing that I definitely did catch was that by eating the fast carbs, which is the candies, sodas, cookies, stuff like that, actually causes inflammation in the body. And because our bodies aren't converting T4 into T3 very well, that poses a problem, because we can't rid ourselves of inflammation like we naturally would with a healthy thyroid. So I just wrote down what I would eat as anti-inflammation foods. But another one is tomato. I don't like tomatoes, but this is what I would tolerate. It's like leafy greens, fatty fish, nuts, olive oil, stuff like that. A health nut would go crazy with this. And the better carbs is potatoes and refried beans. Once again, those are just the foods that I would tolerate. Now, people, they go against potatoes because potatoes is a starchy carb. It's a fast carb type. But there are so many different ways that you can eat potatoes. You can have baked potato, boiled potato, and of course mashed potatoes and fried potatoes and potato chips. Well, if you eat potato chips, that can cause a problem as well. And I found that out for myself. When I eat potato chips, any weight loss the bet's off the table, literally. So for me, what I would consider more of is possibly eating French fries, which I've been eating a lot of French fries, but maybe I could slow down on the French fries, but eating more baked potatoes and possibly boiled potatoes. Now, I love baked potatoes with cheese and ranch dressing and bacon bits when I buy bacon bits. I don't always buy bacon bits. But I love baked potatoes like that. Not your traditional butter, salt, and pepper. I've got to knock mine up, you know. And so that is considered a better carb because it's fibrous and it digests slowly. And that's what they're looking for. Carbs that digest slowly. And then, of course, proteins, which consist of fish, chicken, beef, you know. And what they had mentioned was for you to have just a well-balanced diet. And for you to basically knock out candy and soda, which I had been working on getting my body off of the candy anyway. Soda, I'm going to really drink it at a minimal, really, really minimal, only with meals, which I'd been doing that anyway. Now the fatty fish, this is what I had listed that I would like personally, is tuna, salmon, and pollock. That's the good fatty fish that's got the omega-3s. Omega-3 is another important factor for hypothyroidism. And good fish is also tilapia, cod, flounder, and shrimp. So I love fish, the majority of it. So I'm in great luck here. I could almost make a complete diet out of fish meals because I love fish. So, but here I wrote simple carbs can cause inflammation, which I just told you. If it said that those with hypothyroidism, it's important to keep a food diary. Important, they said. The 7 types of food that will work, which I only wrote down 6. I don't remember what number 7 was, but it was something that I wouldn't eat. So I wrote down 6 of them. Fatty fish, iodine. Iodine is very vital to the thyroid. Iodine is. And you can get that simply through getting iodine salt. Make sure that your salt reads iodized. If you get non-iodized salt, then you're not benefiting very well. You need iodine for your thyroid. Your thyroid functions on iodine. Nuts, dairy. I eat a lot of cheese. A lot of cheese. Beans and whole grains. So, yeah, I can definitely deal with that. Now, the iodine, I found out about the iodine back in 2015 when I was reading up more about my thyroid. I just never did study up on what kind of foods worked best for hypo. Also, another good thing is staying active. In other words, it read, move your body. And as you know, a sluggish thyroid means you've got a sluggish body. So if you don't know by now, walking is a great form of metabolism boosting. The thyroid works the metabolism. And so by walking, you're strengthening your metabolism. You're getting it to burn hotter, stronger, which works a lot better for the thyroid. Also, the thing that they had mentioned was to eat small portions a few times a day. That kind of kicks the OMAD out. But the thing is, this is the key right here. This is the key. Too low of calories can stress the thyroid, causing a decrease in T3, which is important. So, okay, like if you want to do OMAD and you're hypo, you still need to make sure that you get the right amount of calories, which it didn't say how many calories the body needs with hypo, but a lot of times when you eat OMAD, you have a tendency to eat less calories than you would if you ate a few meals a day. But if you want to do OMAD, then make sure that you eat the better carbs, the slow digesting carbs that last on the body for a good while. And that you've got a good amount of protein, because having the slow carbs and the protein will help a whole lot toward you not being hungry again. Therefore, you can go and do the intermittent fasting that you're wanting, and it won't cause stress on the thyroid because you have got enough calories. Make sure that you've got enough calories. That way it can all work together. So once again, too low of calories causes stress on the thyroid, which means it is a decrease in the T3, and we need the T3. The other thing that it said was anti-inflammatory foods are good for helping the liver. We need the liver to function properly because the liver is responsible for converting 60% of the T4 into T3. 60% is a high percentage. So that means the liver plays a very large role in us having a healthy thyroid. And therefore, by eating anti-inflammatory foods, we are helping our liver, which means our liver is functioning better toward taking care of our thyroid, converting the T4 into T3. And then, of course, you take your thyroid medication as directed by the doctor. So, for me, it was hard for me to go against hunger and try to rate it out so that I would have the right amount of fasting, And I told the Lord after I'd read up on that about eating smaller portions and eating a few times a day, I told him, Lord, but what if there's the fear of overeating? And then he just reminded me, just eat when you're hungry. So yesterday I had put into action what I had read. I made sure that I had leafy greens, I had a decent amount of protein, I had slow carbs, which is the better carbs, and I had small portions and ate just a few times yesterday. Matter of fact, I ended up eating a total of 5 times. 5 times yesterday. I ended up eating 5 times yesterday. I had like 2 peanut butter toast on whole wheat bread and a small cup of coffee, which was actually 8 ounces. And then I had a taco salad from Taco Bell. I didn't eat the shell. I never eat the shell because that shell saturates the grease that was used to fry it, and I don't like the taste. So I just ate the salad itself, which had lettuce, beef, rice, and refried beans, plus some sour cream. So right there was everything that was good for the body with hypothyroidism. And then When I was hungry again, I had a couple small handfuls, which actually it equaled one good handful of pistachios. And then I had some of my curry nuggets, curry chicken nuggets, and I had a salad that also had egg and cheese in it. So once again, everything that is good for the body with hypothyroidism, and it was still a small portion. And then we went to church, and then when we got back, I had one peanut butter toast on whole wheat bread. I don't buy white bread because normally I don't eat bread, but the whole wheat bread is great as toast. I enjoy that. So that's how I ate yesterday. Now, when I weighed myself yesterday morning, I was 186.5. This morning, I was 184.1. After the way I ate yesterday. See, I had been living in a fear that I'd been eating too much. That because I know I've got a hypothyroid, and therefore, it can't metabolize. And I kept thinking, I'm eating too much, I'm eating too much, I'm eating too much. And so therefore I was trying to eat less, which was causing stress on my thyroid, which means it was decreasing the amount of T3 that it needs, which means I was gaining weight because I wasn't metabolizing. T3 is the factor for metabolism. Without T3, you don't have a metabolism. And without metabolism, you're not digesting, processing, and metabolizing food like you need to, which means you're gaining weight. Everything was backfiring on me because I was trying to eat less, which means I was putting my body under stress. When I read about all that and thinking about what I'd been doing, trying to do the OMAD and then trying to just eat 2 meals a day, and all the while I had been trying to eat less calories, all the while I had been putting my body under stress, sabotaging my own weight loss. It made sense. It made perfect sense. And after how I done yesterday, because I thought, man, I just know I ate too much. And then how much I weighed this morning. Now some of you might say that maybe it was just, let me explain something to you, okay? I had been staying severely bloated. My stomach seriously staying uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And another thing, hypothyroidism is responsible for constipation. So I'm going to be reading up on that sometime. So far I don't suffer too awful much from constipation, praise God. On occasion though, and that's rough. But so I would go through periods of just not really urinating well, and even when I would have a good bathroom, yet finally like I would urinate and whatnot, and I thought, okay, I definitely have lost some weight now. And no. Even though it would be a good bathroom. Yesterday I had a good bathroom, and just like any other time. And this time there was weight loss. There hadn't been weight loss the last couple weeks with a good bathroom. There hadn't been, but this time there was. I think by how I ate yesterday, my body finally felt the relief that it was needing. It was getting rid of the inflammation. Apparently, I had put a lot of inflammation on my body, and I was feeling the effects. I was feeling miserable. I had no energy. My mind wasn't functioning very well. And that's another thing about hypothyroidism. It's also responsible for depression. So, yeah, I just, the way that I done yesterday, making sure that all the foods went along in the category of anti-inflammation foods, I think that's what my body needed. That's what my body was looking for. So when I weighed myself this morning, I asked the Holy Spirit, show me how to do that again. Because if that's all my body is asking for, that's all my body is needing, I can do that. I can do that. So the reason why I went on ahead and done this video is for any of you that's got hypothyroidism and you're just wondering what is it you can do because you are fighting hard. And even recognize that those with hypothyroidism struggles even more to lose weight than those with a normal thyroid. And they said it doesn't have to be like that. I am going to do everything I can to put periodical videos out there for you all so that you can understand a little bit more about your thyroid and what we can do to better our bodies, our systems, lose the weight, be happy by taking better care of our thyroids. I'm here for you. So as I study it more, as I learn more, because I am wanting to get the optimum, I'm wanting to get my thyroid as strong as possible. I am going to continue looking into other things, what else I can do. And as I know more, I'll share it with you all. I hope this video has been helpful for you to understand. And like I said, if you want to do OMAD, and then just make sure that you've got the slow carbs and protein so that it will last on your body and that you've got plenty of calories in there. That way you're not stressing your thyroid out and you can do OMAD properly. So anyway, I love you guys. Like I said, I hope that this video helps. You all have a great day.